welcome to this week's edition of Catherine Lorimer's Guide to Life podcast. Yeah, let's get the music right down, shall we? That's better. You can actually hear me now, can't you? Okay, so this week, exciting news. So hopefully you've enjoyed the past two podcasts. So obviously I'm recording this, ahead of schedule because I'm back to being organised again. And this week I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be called something along the lines of, haven't quite decided in my head yet, but maybe push yourself to do something different. Okay, because I think we should be doing something different if we want to change and grow ourselves. Then it's always good to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone. Also, I'm recording this in a different location. Be interesting to see if my cousin moans about the sound or not. I'm actually doing it in the desk in my living room, which is underneath the stairs, mainly because it's in the morning. I'm drinking my coffee and I really couldn't be bothered lugging everything else upstairs because I have been recording a couple of them somewhere in other locations. And I'm just back. I've been, travelling around a bit. My neighbour jokes that I'm never here, right? And they've started calling me in the village the Scarlet Pimpernel, which is quite interesting. Yeah, Miss Scarlet. Yeah, that probably actually relates, doesn't it, to the thing that I did last week? Maybe I should have called myself Miss Scarlet, but Scarlet Pimpernel works for me as well. I'm quite happy with that. It's quite funny. So this week, what did I do, to go and push myself out of my comfort zone, right, and grow myself? Well, I noticed on Facebook, one of my friends had commented about netball that was happening. They're setting up a new netball league in Chester. So I'm like, right, okay, I was goal attack. Right, hang on. Have I got a calculator down here? I don't think I have, and I'm not reaching for my phone. Some considerable time ago, right, might have to work this out. So I played when I was in primary school. Yeah, so what was I, maybe, I don't know, let's say 10. No, let's say 12. No, let's say 11. So that's 11, 21, 31, 41, 40 years ago. Okay, I was probably a little bit older, but we'll just keep the math simple because I'm 51, although I keep saying I'm 52 and my boyfriend keeps saying, no, you're 51, you're 52 in October, 26, just in case I know you're listening. Right. So obviously 1973. Anyway, that wasn't really I can't even sing it. Anyway. Always be in a club with you in 1973. Yeah, I was born in 1973. Anyway, I'm moving on from that. Right. So what I'm chatting about today is, netball. So I saw it and I thought, well, I'll give it a go, Not sure how bad I'll be, I thought, or good I'll be. And also what my fitness levels were, because I haven't been able to run. I've been trotting along behind the pony when I've been teaching him to drive. So although that's a work in progress. I haven't done as much of that because excitedly I'm now able to ride, it seems. I managed to ride twice over the weekend. Great hacks out, quite a long one, no issues whatsoever, thankfully. So I'm obviously quite excited to be back on board again. Again, a massive, massive, massive thank you to the star that is Jane. She is an absolute legendary hero for keeping my pony going, keeping him fit, and so that I can just pop back on. Because anybody who doesn't understand anything about horses is, if you let them go unridden, they can be very excitable, and there's a potential to fall off, which I don't want, can't risk. So the fact that she's keeping him going, and so I get back on, and he's just great. He's really tired, and just what I need basically. So massive, massive thanks to Jane for that. Yeah, so I haven't done as much driving. But anyway, back to the story about running. So I've been trotting and him driving out, running a little bit. But apart from that, I haven't been able to do any running. So I did say to my physiotherapist, I said, look, there's this netball thing. Do you think that'd be okay? And she's like, yeah, give it a go. So we're doing lots of kind of gym exercises now for my physiotherapy as well. And all seems to be going in the right direction, which is really, really good. So I thought, right, I'll give netball a go. So went along for the first time last week, which isn't obviously last week, but it is last week to me. Well, it was yesterday, in fact. It's Monday and it was Sunday, but that's beside the point, really. So, and I thought, I'm not really sure. We'd set up a WhatsApp group, so we kind of introduced ourselves, and I knew that I wasn't the only person who was a bit older there, so that was fine. So got there, couldn't find the place, first of all, but we managed to find it, found out where we were going, which is good. and watched a little bit of the first game, and that was all fine. And then, was trying to remember the rules. So they were concentrating on 4 rules. Don't ask me what they were. Oh, actually, one was don't move. You can't move the foot you land on, which I did the first time, and I knew I did it. And so I'm going to have to practice my footwork. Remember where your positions can go, okay, which was good because that kind of came in. Because we were handing out the bibs, and what was the other rule? So there are 4 rules. It's really bad, isn't it, that I can't remember what the 4 rules were. Don't run with the ball. No, there's various other rules of which I can't really remember what they were. Oh, marking, that's right. You've got to kind of give each other a metre space. I'm not very good at marking anyway. I probably need to practice that bit. And there was another one of which I say I can't remember. So I thought, so we're handing out the bibs, and I used to be quite good at goal scoring, but obviously I was a bit rusty, and I thought, well, maybe I should just, see who wants to do the goal scoring thing. And then if, somebody else wants to do it, that's fine. Let them go on with it. And I'll just take, one of the kind of wing attack or wing defence positions instead. Centre runs around far too much for me. Right. So what I did was, so the girl next to me actually said, I'll be a goal attacker. I was like, right, okay, that's cool. I don't mind. And then she went, oh, actually, do you know what? I think I'll be goal shooter. And I was like, well, I'll take goal attack then, because that was a position I used to play anyway. And so it was really, really good. And obviously my partner at goal defence this side is also a fellow equestrian. He's also got 14-2, which is technically a pony as well, having had a complete disaster with a warm blood and spent a excruciatingly amount of money on vet's bills, okay, which did make me, which it was a huge amount, which I was just quite gobsmacked actually. But anyway, there we go. So she's now got a small, 14-2 pony, which obviously she's really enjoying doing loads of stuff with that. So that was quite entertaining that we're both equestrians, but apparently quite a lot of equestrian people play netball, which I didn't realise. But she was good. She played quite regularly. And she was very good at marking me, actually, really good. She got the ball off me a couple of times, so I need to be a little bit more awake. But hey, first game, and you've got to kind of like look at your strengths and weaknesses. So I played really, really well. One thing that I noticed was my fitness. I'm pretty fit. Even though I haven't been running, I can get from one end of the court to the other pretty quickly because I've got quite long legs and I've done a lot of running. Also, I wasn't out of breath at the end of the match. Didn't really feel like I could have done. I felt nice and warm and warmed up, but I wasn't out of breath, which was great. And it was So I was really impressed with the fitness. They actually wanted people to stay on for another match, and I would have done that, but Mother had been. I'd arranged for Mother to cook me. Well, I hadn't arranged. I told Mother I was available to eat a nice roast meal if she was inclined to make one. She makes one every week, but I've been busy for about the past 6 months. So I was like, I can come for a roast. So that was quite nice. Thank you, Mother. Roast pork. It was absolutely lush. Thank you very much. And obviously I'm not a vegetarian, but hey. So the netball thing. So did I score any goals? Yes, I got 2 out of 3 attempts, which is pretty good for somebody who hasn't scored for a long time. And it was a first attempt as well. I was out, and by goal 2, my fellow partner in goal defence, what was it she called me? Oh, hang on, we have to think about it. Yeah, Michael Jordan. You're right, I did have to Google that. Michael Jordan, that's what she called me, just as a reminder, because a lot's happened since yesterday. I've slept for a start. No, honestly, I was really, really pleased. I just kind of like lined the ball up with the whole net and just chucked it and it went in. Obviously the fact that I missed one, I want to be like perfect. I want to be 3 out of 3. So that needs a little bit of work, but it was really, really good. There was a nice kind of like, because when you're meeting a strange group of people, for the first time, somebody was a little bit anxious and not really sure. And it is a bit because we're all rocking up together, and I met some people in the car park, and I don't mind going and doing things like that. I have no longer have any nerves whatsoever about going and meeting people I haven't met before. There's no anxiety there for me at all because I've done so much work on myself. Okay, just to detract slightly as well, one thing I've noticed as well is that I'm not actually buying as much stuff, okay? No, I used to be buying lots of random. I used to buy things and then not really do anything with them. Like I've got a Nell jail set here that's kind of quite happily sitting, and I haven't done anything with them. I might do something with them for Christmas. But I haven't really been doing anything. I haven't really been buying anything, rather. So obviously I must have reached a point in my life where I'm actually really contented with everything and how it's going, and happy that I'm not needing to constantly buy things all the time. Because actually you don't really need things, okay? Things aren't what make us happy as people. It's things like I'm dealing with the whole emotional eating, and it's really good, because also I thought the netball would really help for the fitness, because I do want to try and lose a bit more weight. And I've been saying this for the past 2 years. Where it's like I feel like it's really going to happen this year. So I've been speaking to a friend of mine who has lost 3 stone in weight, and she looks amazing. So I said to her, right, I said, you look fantastic. How are you doing it? And she said, I'm doing Slimming World. So she said, all you need to do really is eat loads of fruit and vegetables. Okay, you can eat as many sort of eggs as you want. These are free foods. You can eat as much as you want to fill you up. So you're eating like eggs, fish, veggies, fruit, lean meat. And I think there might be a couple more things, or potatoes, and you can eat a little bit of pasta as well. But you need to make sure that the most portion on your plate is vegetables. So I was like, right, okay, do you know what? That is kind of me. I know that I need to cut out the eating the ice creams and the chocolate cake, which I made some for Marie Curie, and I knew Mother would bring me some back. So I had a slice of that. And I thought, yeah, so do you know what? That's actually what I need. And now I'm kind of weaning myself off it all slowly, but I feel much better. Having done it for about 4 days now, I feel so much better in myself. I've got so much more energy. Which is fantastic, and maybe that's possibly why I was able to run around, with a bit more energy, because I actually had a bit of a cold, woke up a bit snuffly on Sunday and didn't feel particularly great. No, it wasn't a hangover, honest. So actually, and I thought Sunday morning I was like, oh, I really don't want to ride, and I really don't want to do netball. But actually, having gone out and done those things, I felt really good, and I felt fantastic after going to the netball. So it just shows you, if you do a lot of work on yourself, you do push yourself out of your comfort zone, then you can go out and do these things, and it does make you feel better. And it's a whole thing. It's a balance thing about life, and who you are. But the more you push yourself out your comfort zone, the better you'll feel. And I had a conversation with boyfriend, and he's having issues with his golf, and he's like, saying that there's some guys like they've got like a 0 par. That might not be right. Don't quote me on the golf thing. I haven't tried that yet. That is on my list of things to try. And he's like, yeah, they're really great. And I was like, well, that's because they'll have practiced. They'll have put the work in. You can't just rock up and expect to play really, really well, unless you've actually put the work in. So he actually, when I went off to netball, he had a game with somebody else rather than, just entering the competitions, which is what he's been doing. So, and the other guy gave him a few pointers. So I think, playing socially without putting pressure on himself, or practicing the range, he's like, it's boring. And I'm like, yeah, but I know, but you need to practice, and if you want to get better. So, of course, then he's like, how did it go? And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's really good. I kind of didn't get the points, but I was happy with what I was working on. That's great. How'd you get on? I was like, oh yeah, I scored 2 goals and we won as a team. Hang on. I mean, to be fair, the other goal shooter got 3, and she was pretty awesome. But one thing that I would notice, I was really happy with certain areas of my performance, because it wasn't just the goal scoring. Okay, there was one where I could have taken a shot at goal, but I thought, I'm not close enough. I'm not going to risk it. I'll pass it to the goal shooter who's a little bit closer. She actually missed, so I probably should have taken it, but I'll know that for next time. But there was also a couple of times where I've kind of learnt that actually you don't throw the ball to the nearest player, okay? You pause for a second. And I've learnt this. You take your time. When I learnt it from playing badminton, okay? You just pause a little bit, okay? Just don't rush the shot. Just pause, take it, hit it. because I played badminton when I was in Fuerteventura and haven't played since. And I did that with netball. I paused when I had the ball for like just a couple of seconds to quickly look around at who the best player was. And it feels like a long time, but you've got that time to assess. There was one player on my right where I thought she's closest to me, but she had a load of people around her. And there was another person on the left-hand side, okay, who was actually further along and I didn't have as many people. So I chucked it to her. And one thing is I'm actually pretty good. I was pretty accurate, so I was quite pleased about that. Only missed one catch where I dropped it. She did chuck it a little bit too hard at me and it just kind of bounced out my hand. But hey, do you know what? It's all a learning curve, and I'm pretty pleased with how it went for my first time. What did I expect? What happened? So I arrived at the car park, just for anybody who kind of wants to kind of go and is thinking, I'm not really sure what to expect, because I know people do feel a little bit of nervousness about doing things like that, especially if you go on your own and you haven't got anyone that wants to go with you. We just arrived at the car park. We could have done with a sign up, to be fair, saying it's this way. Found where we were playing, and then just kind of, I introduced myself to everybody and just said, hi, I'm on this team, you on that team. And you just start talking to people. It's not that difficult, really. And then say when you're playing, you're kind of getting to know each other, and then just put like a nice comment in the chat. Like I put, great match, guys. And someone got injured, saying, hope the person that got injured is okay. And it's just little things like that. That's all you kind of need to do, really. And I say it was a really, really good experience. Did it push me out my comfort zone? I would say not. No, I felt pretty comfortable, which is probably why I was able to score some goals. I did feel, I think there are elements to my game that I can improve on. I need to be running around a lot more. I would say I was a little bit erred on the side of caution, because I've got to be keep in mind my ankle sometimes gets seizes up. And I had already done quite a significant amount of steps. And I did 24,000 steps the day before, although some of those were pony, but that's half marathon distance. So I didn't want to overdo it. She says, having done about 20,000 steps yesterday as well. But hey, so I burnt off that chocolate cake. I know it's not the way to think, but hey, it was there. Yeah, so, I think I need to be a little bit more awake, a bit too hesitant, but it's really good to sort of like self-assess and see where you kind of think you're weak, where you can kind of improve on things. And so what I would say is, from my experience of like being coached and coaching people, is kind of focus on one element of the game, okay, of whatever it is that you're doing or whatever it is you're doing in life that you want to be a little bit better at. And really work on that particular element until you're happy with it. Like I was watching a program last night on Netflix. A second series is out now. Yes, I did have to stop and Google it. I wanted to make sure I got the name right. It's My Life with the Walter Boys. Okay, and I love it. It's great. I really like it. I've got a serious crush, okay, on the guy with the blonde hair, right? Which doesn't, Cole, which never happens. I don't usually go for blondes, but I've got a serious crush on him. Right, which is surprising because that's not my usual type. So I did watch about 3 episodes, last night. I couldn't stop watching it, and I don't. Like, for anyone who knows me, I don't watch TV, okay, at all. It doesn't happen. I tend to watch maybe an hour. I've been watching the ITV drama about based in Australia. One night, which was quite harrowing and quite difficult and painful for me to watch as well, because I think it's the not knowing what might have happened. I think for me is, so it's the not knowing. And what am I talking about? So I've never really told many people this before. I'm slowly starting to talk about it now. But there was one morning in 2002 where my now ex-husband was he lived in Glasgow, and we were first together. We lived apart for a year, and I woke up one morning and I found my clothes folded up on the chair, okay, in my bedroom. And when you wake up and you think, I don't remember doing that. I don't fold things up. I'm not tidy. Anybody who knows me, will know I'm not tidy. My mum will tell you was so unbelievably messy when I was at home. I'm not particularly great now. I still don't fold my clothes up. Will dump them on the box at the end of my bed. I am getting better at folding them actually when I stay over at my boyfriend's, because he's a lot tidier than I am. So I think we're both making a conscious effort at the moment. Although I do leave stuff chucked lying around, which probably annoys him. But and so I'm joking about it, but quite often we joke about things that are really, really serious in order for us to be able to process them. And I don't know why I didn't question it at the time, but there was no sign of anybody breaking into the house. Okay. So I thought, well, I must have done it and not remembered. Okay. It's now coming to light that's not actually the case at all. But, so for me, I can really associate with the whole not knowing what happened. Okay. And that's a really big thing. And I found that particular drama really, and I'm getting quite emotional now, really, really hard to watch, because I could really associate with that particular character and what she had gone through, the fact that she just didn't know what had happened to her. She didn't know. And that's the really thing that kind of really, really resonates with me. Anyway, I don't want to kind of leave it on a low point, so I'm going to go back to the series that I absolutely love. And sometimes emotionally, if we're struggling with our emotions, because I emotionally eat. I was going back to the whole conversation with my friend Katie, wasn't I, at Slimming World, which I kind of digress from. And I said, I emotionally eat. And she's like, yeah, so do I. So I'm trying to deal with my emotions. And by making me watch things like that, it makes you feel a certain way. Okay, I had to watch it on my own now. I couldn't watch it with anybody else because it probably, or maybe may have got emotional. But I was pretty good. And then I watched something light-hearted, okay, after that. So it was on different days, because I say, anyone who knows me, I only watch about an hour of TV, and sometimes not a day, if that. It's usually something on Netflix. However, last night I was 3 hours binge watching this Life with the Walter Boys. Fantastic. Love it. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about emotional eating. Well, what is that? Well, when I feel something, okay, I tend to eat things. And it's only something that I've recently become aware of. I think a lot of people actually do this, because I think we're told, aren't we, at a young age. I certainly was, as my mum's like, right, you're too sensitive. You need to stop being so sensitive and toughen up. Because I come home in tears because someone had upset me saying X, Y, Z. Rather than letting my emotions out and saying, actually, it's okay to get upset about that. This is what we should be saying. We should be saying, yeah, it's okay. It's all right to feel like that. That's okay. It's perfectly acceptable. You're justified in feeling like that. Just let it out and deal with them and process them, and just think about and then think about how, you might change the situation differently, or how you could have handled it differently, and what you could have maybe said to that person to say, so to say, actually, do you know what? Do you call them out on the behaviour and say, actually, it's a problem, isn't it? Because if you're a child, and you say, oh, you've really upset me, well, they're just going to do it even more, aren't they? But as an adult, if you say, do you think that made me feel? Okay. And just put it out there, which I'm doing with somebody at the moment. How do you think that made me feel? And it's not even a cross. It's not. So how do you think that made me feel when you didn't do that? You're kind of asking them to kind of justify, to think about things. Because that's the only way you kind of get people to change, to make them to start thinking about how they are inwardly. Because there are lots of people out there who are quite selfish and just think about themselves. And it's only children. I'm guilty of that, although I think I've digressed a long way from where I really was, which is, that's pretty good. It's a good place to be. Anyway, I've rabbited on long enough. But I just kind of wanted to show you, how I kind of evaluate myself when I've done something, because I know not everyone does this. I think everyone does it. And so that's how I do it. That's my thought process behind everything. And that's how I change, and that's how I grow. And hopefully inspire other people to go and try other things. Because we should. Anyway, I need to find something else to go and do next month. I've got an idea in mind, actually, which is quite exciting. Hope you've enjoyed this one. I'm finishing it 5 minutes early. Hey, go and grab a cup of coffee, sit out and chill, listen to your favourite music. Hope you have an amazing week, guys, and I'll catch you next time.